Hello dear students, this is Nandini Khatare, Assistant Professor, Department of Forensic Science, Kristu Jayanti College, Bangalore. In this video lecture, we will study about the crime, definition, causation and elements of crime. So let's discuss the definition of crime. Crime is an act or omission prohibited by law and is punishable by the state. It is defined as an act or omission that violates the law and disrupts the social order. Crimes are specific action or inaction that are explicitly prohibited by the legal system. When an individual commits a crime, the state has the authority to impose penalties or punishment upon them. So, we can state that crime encompasses actions or inaction that violate the law, disrupt social order and are subject to punishment by the state. Now let's discuss the causes of crime. So there could be various causes or factors responsible for criminality. Major factors include socioeconomic factor, family and upbringing, peer influence, mental health and substance abuse, and lack of education and opportunity. When talking about socioeconomic factors, poverty, unemployment and social inequality can contribute to individuals turning to crime as a means of survival or gaining resources. When talking about the role of family and upbringing, dysfunctional family dynamics, neglect or abuse can lead to the development of antisocial behavior and a lack of positive role models. Associating with individuals involved in criminal activities can normalize deviant behavior or lead to peer pressure to participate in illegal activities. Untreated mental health issues and addiction can drive individuals to engage in criminal activities to cope with their struggles or obtain substances. Limited access to quality education and career opportunities can contribute to a lack of positive outlets and a sense of hopelessness, increasing the risk of criminal involvement. A very famous saying by Cesare Lombroso, criminals are born, not made, and have distinct physical characteristics. Cesare Lombroso is considered as father of modern criminology and he gave the biological theory of criminal behavior. Robert Merton was an American sociologist, a professor at Columbia University who developed the strain theory, which explores the relationship between societal goals, the means of achieve those goals, and the potential for criminal behavior. Now, let's discuss the elements of crime. The major elements of crime includes actus reus and the mens rea. Actus reus is a criminal act or external conduct required for a crime to be committed, such as killing, stealing, or assaulting. Mens rea states the guilty mental state or intent required for a crime, such as purposely, knowingly, recklessly, or negligently committing the criminal act. The simultaneous occurrence of the criminal act and the guilty mental state, meaning the act and the intent, must coincide for crime to be complete. This infographic shows the actus reus and mens rea. Actus reus is the criminal act, is a fundamental element of criminal liability. It refers to the requirement of a voluntary and overt act or omission that is prohibited by law. This means that for an individual to be held criminally responsible, they must have been engaged in physical action or inaction that the law deems unlawful. The actus reus element ensures that criminal punishment is not imposed on individuals who have not actively participated in the commission of crime. Mens rea, that is the guilty mind. So mens rea holds four major elements, namely intent, knowledge, recklessness, and negligence. Intent being the highest level of mens rea, wherein the individual purposefully commit the crime and with the desire to bring about the result. Knowledge emphasizes on the individual that he knew that their action would result in criminal outcome even if they did not desire the outcome. Recklessness. Here, the individual was aware of the risk of their action leading to criminal outcome, but consequently disregarded that risk. Negligence. Here, the individual failed to recognize a substantial and unjustifiable risk of their action leading to the criminal outcome, a breach of standard of care that a reasonable person would have observed. Elements of crime could also be clubbed like this: actus rea plus mens rea or strict liability plus absence of defense gives a result of defendant liability. Now, let's discuss about inchoate crimes. What are inchoate crimes? Inchoate crimes are incomplete or preparatory crimes that do not require the commission of the intended offense. They include attempt, conspiracy, and solicitation. Attempt is when an individual takes a substantial step towards the commission of the crime but fails to complete the offense for reason independent of their own will. Conspiracy. Conspiracy is when two or more individuals agree to commit a crime and take an overt act in furtherance of that agreement. Solicitation. Solicitation is when an individual commands, encourages, or requests another person to engage in criminal conduct. Defenses to crime. So there are two types of defenses to crime. First is self-defense, second is insanity. Self-defense is a justification defense where the defendant used force to protect themselves or others from unlawful force or imminent harm, whereas insanity is a mental incapacity defense where the defendant lacked the mental capacity to understand the wrongfulness of their action at the time of crime. Moving to the conclusion. So far, we have discussed the definition of crime, that it is an act or omission that violates the law and is punishable by the state. We have also discussed causes of crime, various factors contributing to criminal behavior such as social, economic, and physiological influences, and we had also discussed elements of criminal liability, the key requirements for an act to be considered criminal, including actus reus, the guilty act, and the mens rea, guilty mind. Thank you.